Trust in two directions. I had no hope. We never follow instinct. We just don't understand a different situation. We've lost your man. My heart's in limbo. Your heart's in limbo. With everybody else, I think that you should learn to love yourself. The man that you love most, the man that brought you here, he's always in your memory, he's always near. My heart's in limbo. Your heart's in limbo.
Hello, I'm Willie Bragg from the Willie Bragg Show. How's everybody today? I seem to come up with excuses as to why I will go and live stream and then somehow postpone it. But it's just been kind of clusterfuck for me lately. Mostly, I've had car trouble, so that's been largely solved. So that won't be an excuse any longer and all that. So I hope everybody's doing well tonight. We have Miguel over here joining us. We have Lorley. Thank you. You do what you got to do. Yeah, we understand. I appreciate that. It just seems like something would happen that would just hinder me, and can be very frustrating at times and all that. And it kind of violates my sense of professionality. Is that even a word? Anyway, yeah, so I'm glad to be back, and we're going to be discussing Marjorie Taylor Greene before her resignation almost a week ago becomes irrelevant or past news. It's still relevant, but as you know, Marjorie Taylor Greene resigned from the U.S. Congress. But before we do, let's start with a little bit of comedy, okay? Because I think levity is just always in order. Is this the one here? I think this should be the one. So we'll start with a little bit of levity here. And I'll just say, could you imagine if Alex Jones was not right wing at all, but a Marxist Leninist instead? And this is an AI, an AI, obviously an AI of Alex Jones as a communist. So here we go.
The history of all hitherto existing societies is the history of class struggles. That is the first line of a German language pamphlet coming out of London that the mainstream media does not want you to know about. This communist manifesto is a shot across the bow of the fat cat bourgeoisie who rule on the backs of your labor. Comrades, now is the time to seize the means of production.
I was so lost with words, I had to play that again when I first saw it. So I'm going to play that one more time. It's like 25 seconds, just to kind of let it sink in.
The history of all hitherto existing societies is the history of class struggles. That is the first line of a German language pamphlet coming out of London that the mainstream media does not want you to know about. This communist manifesto is a shot across the bow of the fat cat bourgeoisie who rule on the backs of your labor. Comrades, now is the time to seize the means of production.
You know, if Alex Jones was on the left, you know, whether he's a communist or a social democrat or just not the conspiracy nut he is now. Yeah, I mean, and if he had actually just basic good politics with the anger management that he has, you know, that would have been fun. That I mean, you know, he'd be likable, but you know, he has horrible politics 90% of the time. He's correct on some anti-war issues from the past. Unfortunately, he's basically he's got his mouth filled with Donald Trump's tiny penis, but you know, and you know, just and that, you know, that's the train he decided to ride on. So you know, he grifted into a standard Republican at this point, and you know, it's quite sad to see that happening. So anyway, we have here Jen Perlman. Hey, how are you doing today? It's great seeing you. Great seeing you here. And congratulations on you and Peter's rise on your sub count. I'm glad to see y'all. I'm rooting for y'all to hit 100,000 K. So anyway, yes. So anyway, so as you all know, Marjorie Taylor Greene's resigned from Congress. So with Marjorie Taylor Greene resigning from Congress, you know, well, I will say this much, and we need some graphics here because she's trying to rebrand herself. So in her trying to rebrand herself, let's see where we can go from here. I'm a one-man show. I don't have a producer yet. She's not turned anti-Trump like some people would claim or what have you. Now, do I appreciate some of the things she's been saying lately that's been critical of Trump? I'll take what we can get in that regard. Am I willing to call her an ally? On so many issues, she's not with us on the left. And that's the thing about it. And I'm not speaking as a Democrat, a vote blue no matter who, blue MAGA camp type person. I'm speaking as an independent. Now I look at someone like Thomas Massey, or when he was in Congress, Ron Paul, and on occasion Senator Rand Paul. And I can look at someone like that, and they're going to be tactically correct on some issues, and they're not going to have a lot of the horrible conspiracy theories and the overt bigotry that Marjorie Taylor Greene embraces. And the thing about it is, and I'm not a cancel culture type progressive. I am not politically correct. I am not ultra woke and all of this sort of thing. But I will caution some progressives that we need to be a little bit careful about getting too caught up over the rebranding of Marjorie Taylor Greene. Not that I'm a Kyle Kalinske fan, but I've been listening to what he's been saying lately, and I kind of am inclined to agree that the Trumpism is a sinking ship, and she sees it as kind of like a Titanic, and she got on the lifeboat as quickly as she could. So and that's what it's coming down to. She's not turning into a Democrat like Joy Behar was trying to suggest for her to be on The View and what have you. She's not going to turn into a progressive. She's not going to turn into a liberal. She's not going to turn into a radical or any of these things. She is rebranding herself, and that's what's happening with Marjorie Taylor Greene. Now, I could look at someone like I don't like Tucker Carlson. I could look at someone like Tucker Carlson and look at someone like Candace Owens, which I don't like. And I can kind of give them the benefit of the doubt that they're going to be correct on some of these issues. And you can look at them and be like, well, I may not agree with them on a lot of shit, but at the same time, I can sort of, be like, okay, on these issues, we can agree and give these people credit. But I'm not willing to give Marjorie Taylor Greene or Nick Fuentes credit. Again, I'm not speaking out of hyper wokeness. I do not want the left to get into what is called a red-brown alliance or accidentally walk into that sort of thing. And that is my main concern. So, and the thing about it is, it's going to backfire for those on the left. Some on the left who are well-meaning, that's trying to see the good in Marjorie Taylor Greene. I'm afraid that's not going to happen, in my view. And so that's just where I stand on that. Now, here's a speech from Marjorie Taylor Greene, and there's so much you could read from it. So I'm going to play it from. This is from last week, and this is regarding her views on Trump and a lot of people having second thoughts on her.
I was called a traitor by a man that I fought for 6 years for. And I gave him my loyalty for free. I won my first election without his endorsement, beating 8 men in a primary. And I've never owed him anything, but I fought for him for the policies and for America first. And he called me a traitor for standing with these women and refusing to take my name off the discharge petition. Let me tell you what a traitor is. A traitor is an American that serves foreign countries and themselves. A patriot is an American that serves the United States of America and Americans like the women standing behind me.
Now, I'm going to say that on that one, she's not wrong And I will give you my take on that. I do think she might have some concern over the victims that, regarding the Epstein files and everything. And she probably is sincere about wanting the Epstein files to come out public. And the Trump administration obviously don't. So and that's what's coming down to. And I think that basically, when it comes to that, Trump is not having it. He wants the loyalty, and he sees her as a traitor. Now, I'm not exactly what you call the most patriotic American, but she is correct about serving other countries, and Trump is serving another country. Now, the liberals are wrong about Trump being a Putin puppet. I have always rejected from day one that Trump was somehow politically in bed with Vladimir Putin. I still reject that claim. I have a lot of progressive friends who still believe that for some god-awful reason, and it doesn't make sense. Now, it makes sense that Trump is in bed politically with Benjamin Netanyahu. So was Joe Biden. So was Barack Obama. So was George W. Bush. So was Bill Clinton, because Bill Clinton was president for a brief while. Benjamin Netanyahu was prime minister for a brief while during the Clinton administration. So, and under Bush, he was the foreign minister in the Ariel Sharon government. So, basically, what I'm saying is that our past presidents have been politically in bed with Benjamin Netanyahu, which is far worse than Putin can ever be. And I will say that till the cows come home. No fan of Putin. I am not a Putin cheerleader in any way, shape, or form. I'm critical of America helping Ukraine in this conflict, obviously, for obvious reasons, the Nazi connections that exist in the Ukraine, and the fact that NATO allowing all these former Eastern European countries to join NATO, in spite of the fact that the U.S. and the former Soviet Union, at the end of the Cold War, making a promise that the former Warsaw Pact countries would not join NATO. And one by one, that they did. And I understand where Russia was coming from when they saw the fact that the potential of Ukraine joining NATO. Now, I'm going off the subject there to the side a little bit, but I'll get back to the subject at hand. So, yes, Trump is serving another country. It ain't Russia. It's not Russia. And Biden was not serving China, like some of the MAGA crowd claim when Biden was president. They were both serving the same asshat, Benjamin Netanyahu, who's one of the most dangerous people alive right there today. Every bit as dangerous as the assholes who did what they did on 9/11 at the World Trade Center. So there we have it. And Warren, we are glad to see you here. So hey, welcome on board. And Jen, that is actually what I'm going to talk about right now, about the book, or a talk show, or other plans, and which leads me to my next clip that I'm going to show, because I will comment on that, and that's AOC. And I played this the other day, but it's worth playing again because I don't agree with AOC much these days. But I'm going to give her credit where credit is due, and AOC is 100% right here. So let's go ahead and play what AOC has to say.
Here's some tea for you. MTG, people are like, oh my God, she's saying all these things. Like, what's gotten into her lately? Oh, like she's bucking against Trump. She's bucking against the administration. Marjorie Taylor Greene wanted to run for Senate in Georgia. She wanted to run for Senate earlier this year in the state of Georgia. She wanted to be the Republican nominee for Senate. So she was gearing up for that statewide race, and Trump told her no. Trump said no. And the White House and Trump land shut down Marjorie Taylor Greene's personal ambitions to run for Senate. And she has been on a revenge tour ever since.
Okay. Okay. Now, AOC and Marjorie Taylor Greene are not exactly they're not exactly buddies. They're not exactly close pals. They're not exactly friends with each other. But and she's speaking, and is AOC speaking about or commenting on Marjorie Taylor Greene out of spite? Sure. I think that AOC, she looked like she would have a petty streak about her like that, a little, But here's the thing: she's not wrong. She is not wrong. Everybody knows that Marjorie Taylor Greene has aspirations for a higher office other than that district in Northwest Georgia, the 14th congressional district, and we know about AOC's 14th congressional district over there in New York City, over there in the Bronx. And they both have this in common. Marjorie Taylor Greene wants to unseat one of the U.S. senators in Georgia, and same thing in New York for AOC. And so the thing is, in spite of how red Georgia is, in spite of how right-wing and how Republican, how typically Southern Georgia is, geopolitically speaking, in the U.S., Marjorie Taylor Greene, in today's America, even in a place like Georgia, she would not be able to win that Senate seat. That seat in Northwest Georgia is safe for Marjorie Taylor Greene, just as trying to unseat Chuck Schumer in New York is a goal that AOC would like to do. She's not sure she's going to do it. She may try. She may not. We don't know yet. But there's a lot of speculation in New York, too. This is what they both have in common. They both want to become U.S. senators. Thing is that AOC, on her own, would decide whether she wants to do this or not. Marjorie Taylor Greene was ordered not to. And that's the difference right there. And they both probably would have this in common. AOC would probably lose the general election in New York State, and Marjorie Taylor Greene would lose in Georgia. I know blue New York. I understand that. But New York State they still elect Republicans occasionally as governor, as U.S. senators. There are a sprinkling of Republican congressmen throughout the states, throughout the entire state. So just because it's New York State does not mean that they're immune to conservatism. So, and to me, in my view, the Democratic Party, even the Democratic Party in New York, is kind of conflicted. You have Democrats who are Chuck Schumer, Hillary Clinton adjacent, and you have more of the Bernie, AOC aligned Democrats. That's how I sort of see New York State. And I know that they, but I think that the big money will allow the Hillary, Chuck Schumer adjacent Democrats, the Hillary Clinton, Chuck Schumer adjacent Democrats to win this out. So I think it will be a very interesting primary to watch. And even though I'm not a Democrat, the tribalist in me would actually root for AOC, because I have a theory about AOC in New York, that the reason why Chuck Schumer is not as shitty as he could potentially be, and he's a horrible senator, but he would be more horrible if AOC wasn't around. He's scared of her. He is absolutely frightened of her. And That's probably the one thing AOC is doing that's useful. The fact that she frightens the fuck out of Chuck Schumer, because Chuck Schumer would be further right as a senator if AOC wasn't around. So I guess as frustrated as many of us are with AOC, and rightfully so, we probably should be grateful that she's preventing Chuck Schumer, from being a shittier senator than he is already. But with Marjorie Taylor Greene, she will lose that Senate seat in Georgia, but her pride is hurt because Donald Trump said no. And apparently he is the ultimate authority in the Republican Party. So a whole lot of democracy has been diminished in the Republican Party, it looks like. Not that it was ever there to begin with in modern times, but we then again, we all knew that. I think she's probably going to run for the U.S. Senate anyway, or run for governor. And the same thing with governor. She will probably lose, because she's so polarizing. If she was more like a normie Republican, even with some of the screwed up politics that she already has, but she can present herself as kind of normal and not batshit crazy, she will probably stand a chance of winning. But because she's incapable of sounding normal. Donald Trump can run for president and win sounding like a lunatic, but she can't, because she's just very off-putting to a lot of people as a general rule, for normies, for centrists, even some Republicans. They'll stand up against that. They will be loyal to Donald Trump, but they're not going to necessarily be loyal to lieutenants under Donald Trump, such as Marjorie Taylor Greene. So I would suspect that there will be Republicans in that state that would turn against Marjorie Taylor Greene if she runs for that seat. Good point. I'm glad you brought that up, Jen. The Israel question. Okay, it's great. She's condemning genocide in Gaza. That's great. I actually think that's great. It's great to condemn genocide. But there's a difference between, those of us on the left that condemn genocide in Israel, or even a paleoconservative like Tucker Carlson, and that will condemn genocide, or a Ron Paul type, because this is not based out of anti-Jewish hatred. It's based out of, hey, it's not cool to ethnically cleanse another group. I feel the same way if Norwegians were doing this to Swedish people, vice versa. My problem with Marjorie Taylor Greene is the Jewish space laser question. When you have somebody who's seriously is homophobic and anti-trans and anti-immigrant, someone who thinks Antifa is the ultimate problems, or Black Lives Matter is the ultimate problems, but has a dismissive attitude when talking about white supremacy, and goes on some American First Forum with Nick Fuentes that even Lauren Boebert has condemned, that her racism has actually shown from time again. In Marjorie Taylor Greene's case, it's possible that her form of anti-Zionism is probably more based, in her specific case, the kinds that you find on the right, are more based out of anti-Semitism, whereas virtually everybody who's on the left who are critical of Israel, we don't suffer from this primitive, anti-enlightenment, superstitious, fundamentalist, right-wing attitude mindset that goes back centuries, that somehow Jewish people are the other. We just do not believe. We do not believe in genocide. We didn't believe in genocide when Saudi Arabia was doing this to the people of Yemen. We look back in history. We look back at what the United States did to the Native Americans, and we think that was a crime too. A lot of us think what the United States did to the Japanese with the 2 bombs we dropped in Hiroshima and Nagasaki were crimes against humanity. We certainly think what the Germans did to the Jews and all the other groups that Hitler, put in the camps were a crime against humanity. So what the Israelis are doing against Palestinians is just as much a crime against humanity. And we can go with other crimes against humanity, King Leopold, what he did in the Congo. We can go with what Pol Pot did to his own people in Cambodia with the Khmer Rouge. Thankfully, Vietnam liberated Cambodia from the Khmer Rouge, and the United States indirectly supported Pol Pot, by the way. We can look back at all this sort of thing. So I have to go and over-explain this because I get so tired of being called anti-Semitic when people criticize me when I bring up Israel and condemn genocide and condemn the human rights abuse. And look, as a lukewarm, borderline atheist Christian person that I am, what they do in Israel, the treatment against Christians in Israel, I was surprised to find out. I had no idea that they were being mistreated and spit upon and everything. That's fucked up. It's fucked up, what's going on. And, there was a clergyman, a Greek Orthodox clergyman, I cannot think of his name, that when he hears the term Christian Zionism, it offends him because, that terminology is so toxic, and it's probably the worst kind of Zionism you can imagine. It's the worst Zionism it is because it's a fusing of Christian nationalism, Bush Cheney neoconservative foreign policy, and the genocide of Benjamin Netanyahu all roll into one. But anyway. But we have to be careful about Marjorie Taylor Greene in that regard. Even though she's correct, she's correct, I would say, for the wrong reasons. And we need to be careful in that regard. I am part of the fuck Israel crowd. I am part of the fuck Netanyahu crowd. And I will say that till the cows come home. But we need to be careful about people like Marjorie Taylor Greene. And I'm saying this as somebody who's independent and hate the two-party system and see the two parties as toxic, and I would not participate in either party. So I'm not speaking in vote blue no matter who, typical pink pussy hat, anti-Trump, resistance liberalism. I'm not speaking in that mindset. I'm going to play another clip here. This is from Medea Benjamin. I respect Medea Benjamin. I met Medea Benjamin twice, and I usually agree with her, but I do disagree with her here, and I will tell you why. But I will play this clip. But I do think that even though I do disagree with her, a spoiler alert, what she says here is with all the good intentions in the world. So I want to make that clear as well.
I just heard the terrible news that Marjorie Taylor Greene is going to resign from Congress. And why do I say terrible news? Because she has been the most important anti-war voice in the Republican Congress. And she's better than over 90% of the Democrats in Congress. She has been against all war, the war in Ukraine, Israel's war in Gaza, the war now, potential war in Venezuela. She's been against them all. And why? Because she says she cares about domestic issues. She wants people to have affordable housing. She wants them to have health care, which is why she defied her party and went with the Democrats during the shutdown. Trump was furious with Marjorie Taylor Greene when she came out in favor of releasing the Epstein files. He started calling her Marjorie Traitor Greene. Her leaving sends a terrible message to all the other Republicans who might disagree with Donald Trump on an important issue and now will be too afraid to do that. Her resigning also is a win for AIPAC because she said she will not take AIPAC money. AIPAC wouldn't give her money. And she said to AIPAC, bring it on if you're going to go against me. So I say to Marjorie Taylor Greene, we need you in Congress. I disagreed with her on so many issues. Every time I would go to her office, I'd see one message out there that I hated. It would be something like, there are only two genders, male, female, trust the science. Or there'd be a map of the Gulf of Mexico saying, it's not the Gulf of Mexico, it's the Gulf of America. So many issues. But she also always had a sign on her door that said, if you're here to represent a foreign government, you are not welcome here. She was truly America first. And so no matter what issues we disagree with her on, let's remember two things. One, recently she was on the TV show The View, and she said she apologizes for being involved in all of the divisive issues and for saying terrible things about other members of Congress. She evolved. She apologized. Isn't that what we want members of Congress to do? And the other thing is we have to reward members of Congress who move on important issues like genocide, important issues like anti-war. So I just called her office and I left a message saying, Marjorie Taylor Greene, please reconsider, don't resign. We need your anti-war voice in Congress. And you can do the same. You can call her at 202-225-5211, press 2, and tell her, please do not resign. Stay. Let's fight it out together. Let's end war.
Okay. I disagree with 90% what she has to say, and I'm the kind of person that I agree with her 90% of the time. So, and what I mean by that is that, look, as I said previously, I welcome Marjorie Taylor Greene's positive comments condemning war in Ukraine and even condemning genocide in Gaza. Even though I said what I said about maybe with a little bit of caution as to why she may do so with some of these issues. But here's the thing. Venezuela, if she is opposed to the U.S. starting war with Venezuela, good. I'm glad to hear that too. And I know that she voted in favor of the resolution that would rescind the rest of the 2002 resolution of war, going to war with Iraq. Good for her on that. And I forgot to mention that she did sign a letter along with other members of Congress, such as AOC and Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib, believe it or not, calling for the release of Julian Assange about a year and a half ago, I believe it was, but a few months before Julian Assange was released finally. And so in that area, I will say good for you, Marjorie Taylor Greene. I'm not a partisan hack. If Marjorie Taylor Greene came out tomorrow and said, Congress, I think I want to support Medicare for all. Okay, I'll be like, hey, cool. Let's do that. But that brings me to this point. Do you think that Marjorie Taylor Greene is going to be in support of Medicare for all or a public option or what have you? I doubt it. Her politics on economics is anti-labor, is anti-universal health care. If she had it her way, what little bit of crumbs that we have from Franklin Delano Roosevelt's New Deal would be gone. She wants to do to the United States what Javier Milei wants to do to Argentina and what General Pinochet did to Chile. And so economically, on that alone, You know, she's no better than your typical Republican. So, and again, on the social issues, they are important. You know, if you believe a woman's right to her reproductive, if you believe in reproductive rights, that's also very important. If you believe in LGBTQ equality, they are human beings. They are entitled to their rights as human beings, just as like any other persons around in this country. We don't make exceptions for African Americans or Hispanics or any other groups that have been marginalized. Why should the LGBTQ community be excluded? So, you know, I sometimes I get a little nervous when people want to throw one group under a bus. Yeah, so we need to be careful with that. Those of us on the left, we need to be careful with things like that. So she is supposed to go into war with Venezuela, go into war, getting involved with the Ukraine conflict. She's supposed to aid Israel and condemn genocide. Wonderful. All of that's wonderful. But she's not really great on defense issues because she wants to militarize the border between the United States and Mexico, which there's no border dispute. Now, well, I'm going to say this with a caveat. No society, there's no such thing as being for open borders, but at the same time, I don't believe in militarized borders either. You know, you got to have your, you know, you got borders between North and South Carolina, and you got borders between Georgia and excuse me, Nevada, California. You got borders. You got borders between Canada and the United States, and the borders that exist between Mexico and the United States. Normal borders that exist between countries with normal customs that takes care of these things. That's fine. There's no controversy there. What's controversial is the militarized border, the wall that Trump wants to build between the United States and Mexico. Dirty little secret is that Claudia Sheinbaum has improved the lives of working people in Mexico. What dilemma that could have existed with immigration in this country is going to resolve itself. Is there really a fucking need to have ICE agents terrorizing the American population? To terrorize undocumented workers? To terrorize legal immigrants? There's no need for that. Marjorie Taylor Greene loves the fact that ICE agents are doing this sort of thing. This is why we do not need to be like siding with Marjorie Taylor Greene and looking at her as an ally. I mean, we need to think about these things. I mean, I just trying to urge people to caution and to think about what it could mean with Marjorie Taylor Greene. Now, I will say this before I close. I think she will lose if she runs for the Senate or run for governor. But I also think that it will not mean the end for Marjorie Taylor Greene. Marjorie Taylor Greene, I don't think she will get a show on Fox News. I think she'll be considered, believe it or not, too Looney Tunes for Fox News. Believe it or not. Even Fox News, I think, would think she's too Looney Tunes. But what I think will happen is that Marjorie Taylor Greene will have a show, probably on Newsmax or One American News Network, which makes Fox News look like the Young Turks by comparison in their better days. Or it would make she'll probably have her own YouTube show. She'll probably link up with I don't know. She'll probably link up with what's the name of that? Toilet Paper USA, Turning Points USA, or something like that. She'll or some other right-wing network, and that's probably what will happen with her. And she'll probably do well with a talk show or a radio talk show. She'll be like a female Rush Limbaugh type. That's probably where she'll end up being, or she'll have a radio talk show / YouTube program. That's probably where she would be, as far as what I can tell. I think that's ultimately where she will be. She's not going anywhere. She may be leaving Congress, but she's going to be here annoying all of us down the road, is what I'm trying to say. And so before we sit there and go, yay, Marjorie Taylor Greene, we need to think about certain things and be cautious about her. That's all I'm asking. Be cautious. That's all I'm saying. So we have here Bella Lugosi. Hi, Willie and friends. Jen, I am so happy that you're here. And everyone, Jen Perlman's here on the chat line. And congratulations to your show. I'm rooting for you to get over 100,000. You and Peter deserve it. I mean, and your program has gotten better and better and better all the time. I supported you guys from day one, but your show has been really on fire lately as revolutionary change. Keep doing what you're doing. Let's see. We have Miguel. How are you doing today? I'm glad to see you back here again. We have here, who else? Daniel Berry Sports Highlight. Haven't seen you in a while. Happy Tuesday. Lurley, great seeing you here. Warren, I'm glad to see you here, and I'm looking forward to seeing you and Lainey on the Undercurrent tomorrow at 11 a.m. Let's see. We have anybody else here that I missed out on? And we have a few more people here. We have Chuck, Intergalactic UFO Show. She'll likely be a member of the next Tea Party type right-wing American First Caucus. There will probably be another right-wing movement similar to the Tea Party and the MAGA movement or what have you. He'll be very much in there, kind of annoying all of us. I promise you, he'll be around annoying us. And of course, we know what liberals will do down the road. Expect for the liberals when Nick Fuentes becomes president in 2040, and Marjorie Taylor Greene will be like, well, I never expected someone so extreme to become president. And then all of a sudden, the liberals would do what they did to George W. Bush, and you'll have AOC and singing Kumbaya with Marjorie Taylor Greene. Watch it happen. It'll happen. Nothing surprises me anymore. Nothing at all. So anyway, I have to go because I have to eat because I'm starving in spite of the 45 pounds I lost since August. And my doctor's right. He thinks I can get down below 200 by January 1st. I think he's going to be correct. So anyway, who expected for me to look like I'm in my 40s the closer I am as I speed towards 60? Never saw that coming. So anyhow, if you like what you heard, please press like and comment anyway. If you disagree with what I have to say, feel free to share the content on this channel. As a First Amendment absolutist, it's my duty to inform you to create your own platform and utilize it because we are, in fact, the muckrakers of our time. Subscribe to the Willie Bragg Show and on YouTube and all my other platforms. And, of course, remember to free and pardon Ed Snowden, free Palestine, free healthcare for all, and fight like hell to keep our First Amendment alive, thriving, and free. So until next time, let's see. What the hell? Jackson Hinkle used to say this years ago, so I'll repeat it. Fuck Dick Cheney. Y'all have a great evening. Y'all take care. Have a good night. See y'all hopefully soon. And happy Thanksgiving to those who celebrate in a benign way in the next couple of days. Bye-bye.